today. Now, first topic we're going to see is about SAS in-file options. So, which I've shared an email. You can open that where you can see these kind of files. One is the SAS code, the other is a data file. Okay. So from that two folders, upload them into the, like whether you wanted to create as a folder or individually, it is up to you. Under the SAS Studio of SAS on demand, please upload the SAS files, programs and data, both. I have just uploaded now my SAS datas and as well as the SAS codes. So please do that. If once everyone is ready, we'll start with the topic. We'll first understand all the options. Then we'll see it parallelly with the example of each concept or each option we have in this. Once you upload it to University Edition or once you upload it to your on demand, please let me know so that we can start off. Two folders are there. One is data files and SAS codes for in-file options. Open that.
So what should I upload? Data files, right?
Both are there. Like there are few data files as well as the codes, both. Like try to upload the both. In this, which I've shared you, one is the data files and the other one you have the SAS codes. Just upload both of them into your on demand so that once after we understand and execute, like you can follow me with the same thing for all the options that we are running through. You can understand parallelly along with me. So once you are all done with uploading the files and like SAS files and as well as the data, let me know. We'll start with the presentation and understand options. Then parallelly we'll work with the examples. Done? Can I start? Okay. So this is again a very simple topic, we can say, like in-file options. If you remember, in-file is a statement used for reading a text file data. So normally, whenever we are reading it, we use it as a .txt file. By default, in the text file, we have all the data separated with a spaces. It's a space separated value, right? So now, yesterday in one of the examples of data reading, if you might have noticed it, we have also used a CSV file to read it from the data step. In that, if you might remember that, if our file is a comma separated or it's a kind of a delimited file we have, So along with the infile statement, we will specify what type of file it is. It's a delimited file. So we have written one of the option along with the infile statement, that is DLM or delimiter, with what is the delimiter you have into your data. So as you are all writing along with this infile statement, we call these as a infile options, which will only work with the infile statement we have. Okay, so one of the option we have is called delimiter. So SAS will accept any kind of a delimiters, whether it is a comma, ampersand, dollar, any kind of a delimiter except a dot, period. So dot cannot be used as a delimiter. Apart from that, you can use any other delimiters which is separating your data. Okay, so next option we have is DSD. DSD stands for delimiter sensitive data. So I'll explain with one of the example, because this has almost like 3 to 4 purposes to check with the data. So I'll explain with one of the example. And next option we have is something called as a misover. Misover is nothing but, let's assume if some of the data is missing, so how will be SAS able to read it? Let's take an example that I have some data like this. Let's say I have a data called like ID, name and age. So ID is 1, name is ABC, age 10, 2 Tom 20, 3 John 30 or 40, whatever it is. So how will be SAS able to map it? It is with the ID, name, age, so on, the second row will happen. Now let's assume there is a data missing. The data is not provided to us. Okay, and let's say there are some missing values along with the data. So how SAS will be able to read? When it is reading the values like ID1, it will check with the next value. Here the data is not present. Immediately after 1, there is a value called 10. So name will be reading the 10 as a value. So next value will be coming to the previous state. As the numerical will not accept a character, the data reading goes wrong. So to avoid that, we use this option called as a misover. So what will misover do? Misover will places the missing value as it is. If it is a character missing value, it will be represented with a blank. If it is a numerical missing value, it will be represented with a dot, period. The representation of a missing values in SAS. So this option of misover will help you to place this, but only the thing is, it will only replace the last column with the missing value. Only for the last column, misover will be able to handle the missing data. Now you might have a question, what happens if I wanted to have the data in before? So how it will be managed? So we have an option called DST. Anyways, we'll look into that now. So DST will be responsible for handling all the data missing in between. Only in the last column, the misover will be able to handle that. So we generally make a combination of both of this, DST and misover, so that DST will check all the values in between. Misover will be checking all the values missing at the last of it. Right? So this is one other option we have called misover. And next option we have is a scanover. This also I'll show with one of the example, because easy to understand with an example on this option. So we'll discuss with an example now. And next one, we have another option called first OBS. If you remember even the same example yesterday, we have something called as a first observation. That is, SAS will start reading the data from the row number that you specify. For example, I mentioned first OBS equals to 3. It starts reading the data from the third row. So whatever the row number you specify, from that row, it will be able to read the data. We have this option called first OBS. Similarly, we have something called OBS. Starting from the first record, whatever the number you specify, until that it will be able to read it. It will stop reading at the row number that you specify. Now, if you wanted to make a combination of these two, yes, you can make it. Let's say, for example, I've written as first OBS equals to 5 and OBS equals to 10. So what it will do, it will be reading from 5th to 10th. We can make a combination of reading certain rows also, selected rows. from starting with the ending value. So that way we can use this option called first OBS and OBS, combination or individually. Now, just now we discussed about it. So delimiter or DLM, both are accepted. So SAS will accept any kind of a delimiters. Only the period should not be given as a delimiter. It is not considered as a delimiter. Apart from that, every other we can consider it as a delimiter. Right? So next point is about how to read the data. So let's consider if this is my raw data with a comma separated, your entire program remains the same. Only in the infile statement, you'll just specify a delimiter equals to what is the data that is like separated. So delimiter equals to comma. Only this will be specifying for reading the comma separated value or any kind of a delimited values which are there. Clear? So next is DSD. So DSD stands for delimiter sensitive data. Everyone please go through these 4 points. Just let me know if you're understanding all this. Then we'll go with some example. Just take a minute to look into these 4 steps. What do you mean by that? If someone can explain, that would be great. Or else just have a look into this. I'll go with some example. Okay. So what does these 4 points mean? Let's understand with some example. So I'm taking some data which you are supposed to read it. Like let's say a data called country name and state. So I'm taking a country name called United States of America, and let's say there is a data called New York, India, Hyderabad, Africa, and Nairobi, something like that. Okay. So if I'm supposed to read it, so in yesterday's one of the method, like which we have not covered this one, there is one other small point to cover under the one of the method yesterday is, by defaultly, if your data length is more than 8, we have used a fixed input method. So that is nothing but range of values 1 to 10, 1 to 20, so on. But instead, if your values are more than to that, how can we specify for reading for an individual column? So what we can do is, along with the variable name, I can specify how many characters you wanted to read as a default. So do you remember yesterday we discussed about w.d notation, width and decimal. So here for the variable called country, I wanted to assign more than 8 characters. So along with that, I am specifying there is a 20 or 30 characters, whatever you want. So it will be able to read the first one because it is almost like a 20 characters. But when it comes to India and Africa, it is only a 5 and 6 characters. As we already specified, to read a 20 character, it will not be able to understand. So there will be a mistake in reading this. So what we do is, we have one of the symbol called as a colon sign. So what does colon do? Colon will either read the data length, whatever the length that you specify, up till that it will be reading it, or else whatever the delimiter which is coming first. For example, the delimiter is a comma. If you are specifying that, it will stop reading up till that. Okay. So what do you mean by this? Either the length of the data or the delimiter, whichever comes first, the colon will be able to read that. So here, what is the problem we have? As I specified, like country name equals to 20 characters and India is 5. So using a colon sign, we'll be able to manage this. We'll be able to read it. But let's assume I got the same data now with a commas like this. So there the problem here is, after the United there is a comma, so it is not able to read the next values, because After the comma, it will be stopping the reading. So what will happen to this? So we have the special data which we will be receiving. The special data are generally sent to us within the double quotations. So if we can see the DST, the first point is it will ignore the delimiters enclosed in the quotation values. So within the double quotation marks, whatever the data we come, in spite it has some kind of a delimiter, it will be like not considering that. So that is the purpose of a DST. The second thing is, as the data is sent in the double quotation marks for our understanding purpose, it has no importance. So DST will eliminate the double quotation marks as a part of the data. Second thing. The third thing is, let's assume I have some data missing in between. So what it will do, the third point here is, it treats two delimiters in a row as a missing value, which means wherever it finds two consecutive delimiters and any value missing in between is considered by defaultly as a missing by DST. So that's the third point. The fourth one is, if your delimiter is a comma. So normally we'll specify if a delimiter is a comma, we have to specify DLM equals to comma. But when you use a DST, DST will automatically identify the comma as a default delimiter. So when your data is a comma separator value, if you just use a DST, that would be sufficient. It is not required for you to again specify DLM, because DST will automatically identify the comma separated value. Okay, so these are the four purposes of DST we have. So the first one is, it will ignore all the delimiter values enclosed in quotation marks. The second one is, it will ignore reading the double quotation marks as a part of the data. The third one is, it will consider any missing values in between the data. The fourth one is, any delimiter that is a comma delimiter, by default DST recognizes is the comma. It is not required to you to specify again a delimiter or DLM. Okay, so this is the concept of DST option.
Sir, it will count that commas also in DST.
Yes, it will count the commas. It is a character value, but it will ignore.
Because the range we have specified as 20, no?
Sorry.
The range we have specified as 20.
Okay. It can be any size.
The example what we have shown just now.
Right. So for the assumption I've given it as 20, it might be whatever the number of characters.
Okay. I mean, for the same assumption I'm asking, the range we have given 20, and if commas are added, then the range will have to increase if we need to get complete data.
Right, absolutely, yes, as per the data.
And in DST, suppose instead of comma, if I have given some other delimiter like underscore or something else, so I need to define DLM in single quotes as underscore, right?
No, if your entire data values are with the delimiters like underscore, then you have to give it, yes.
Yeah, United underscore States underscore
America, right? Yes. Then you have to give
and
the
in double quotes I have given this.
Yes. Then it will ignore that delimiter. Whatever you have specified as a delimiter equals to, that will be ignored by DST. Okay.
Whether we can give underscore or whether we can give comma, both are same.
Anything, any delimiter. Okay.
Like what else we can give, sir?
Apart from dot, that is a period. Apart from period, any delimiters are accepted. It can be
hash, dollar, anything we can
dollar, question mark, anything except dot. Dot is not a standard of any kind of a delimiters in generally. Apart from period, that is a dot, any other delimiters are accepted. Clear? Can I move to the next? Right. So small example for this. As you can see, this might be some kind of raw data. So in this, you can see there is some kind of a third row. with all the delimiters enclosed in double quotations. There are some missing values in between the data as well as missing value at the last. So our program remains the same. The only thing it specifies whether if you want to write a delimiter, DST and miss over, I'm writing all together as an option. So which will be able to consider them. Okay. So that is nothing but the DST. There is one more option called trunk over. That also I'll show with an example, which has some other additional importance. So now one other point is, if your delimiter is a tab separated value, if it is a tab separated file, the notation for the tab separated is 09x is an notation for tab separated file, tab key separated data. Okay, and this is the notes for DST, first OBS, miss over, OBS, all that. So you can just go through them later. Right? So scan over will work with an example. So now let's see to work with individual examples. So hope everyone has uploaded all your datas and programs which I've shared it to you, right? So open the first code, tab delimiter. So have a tab space.txt. Just give that tab space.txt. And that particular file is generally a tab separated value we have. So which is able to create a data in spite that particular file is a tab separated value. So the notation I'm mentioning is delimiter equals to 09x. Okay. The next example, second one is I have a file called a CSV file, DST comma. So here that is a comma separated value where I wanted that particular comma separated to be read as, like I have the column names in that. So I'm mentioning it as first OBS equals to 2 and DSD for handling the missing values if any. So this is first OBS. And the next one is DSD with all the three functionalities. So there is a data called bands.csv. So whatever I've just now shown into the presentation, the same thing, which you have it here. I'm using all the three options together, DLM, DST and missover, so which I'm able to read it. As you can see here, the datas are ignoring the double quotation marks, having the delimiters in between the value, the missing values in between are handled, and the missing value at the last is handled by missover. Okay. And the next one is open the fourth program. Please someone look into this code and tell me what is the delimiter in this data. What is the delimiter in this data? What is the delimiter in this data? PRD. Right. So as you can see the PRD here, I specified an option called delimiter string. Normally we write it as a DLM. So here it is a delimiter string. So I mentioned it as a PRD. But as you can observe, the PRDs are not in the same case. I have in the uppercase, lowercase combination of cases. So in order to recognize that combination, we have another option for that called DLM-SOPT, delimiter option equals to I, which will identify the case insensitivity comparison. So we should make whether that is in the uppercase or lowercase, automatically that particular delimiter string will be able to be handled. So for that reason, we use this option called delimiter string and DLMS-OPT. So if you just read it, we'll be able to create a data set.
No, I then it is case sensitive, sir.
Like I in the sense, this particular option will handle all the case sensitivity. The uppercase, lowercase, whatever it is, the cases are
No,
managed.
if you don't give that I,
then it will not be able to identify. For example, I'm removing this. Okay. So I'm just able to read it. Here it is showing some error. It is able to not able to identify it all.
so it should be all in capital letters, PRD.
Whether it should be yes, then it will be able to identify it. As because it is in the different cases, so we should have this option called DLMS OPT equals to I. If it is all in the capital letters, that option is not required.
So same like string, we can also have integer.
Integer, then see that if that is a valid or not. Because
Like DLM in
101, let's say you place an integer value like 10 or 20, so that will be considered as a numeric value. Obviously, that is not a valid. So generally, strings can be validated. Okay. And the next one is one other we have called scan over. So see this example. I'm writing an option called infile. The data is here itself. So cards or data lines, we can use either of them. So here we have used cards. So what is that? I'm using one of the option called as a scan over. So scan over will be able to scan your data, check with the string and display all the values. So as you can see, I specified at Apollo. So it is searching for that particular keyword and gives you the result for the next of the values for data comparison. So if you just execute it, you can see the Apollo word is scanned and whatever the values which are coming after that are displayed so that you can make a comparison in between the values. So that is a scan over option.
Sorry, I didn't got this one.
See, I have a name called Tom. Okay. I have some data related to Tom like this. Again, I have a Tom, but the data is different for this person. Okay. So the string which I wanted to see here is like a Tom. For the person called Tom, I have 2 members or n number of members. I wanted to identify that particular Tom data is same or different with the other data which are present in here. So when I'm scanning a Tom, you can see that whatever the values related to them are displayed. So you can make a comparison in between the data, whether the 2 values which we found are same or different for understanding the values. So then we can use it for a scan and search the data. We use an option called scan over.
Okay.
Okay.
So only first variable we can define,
Yes.
or we can give anything?
First variable generally, because the other variables should be falling like after that. Normally it is checked on the unique values, but here in this example, I specified for easier understanding. Normally we do it on a primary key. So which will be easy for us to check any duplicacies. Sorry?
If we give phase 1 instead of Tom?
If you give phase 1 instead of Tom, the data values will be getting changed. So after the phase 1, it will be checking the rest of the values. So here, if I'm executing it, we get the value something different, which is not a right way to understand. Okay. Right. And the last one is a trunk over. So this is very specific for the data. So I'll just open the data here. You can see now generally we call it as a data specific and method specific for these option called trunk over. So what is that? I've written a program. As you can observe that I'm using name 1 to 15, number 16 to 20, street 22nd till 39. So what it is, as you can observe this data, I have mentioned the range of values 1 to 15, 16 to 20, 22nd till 39. So it doesn't have any problem with the values. It has only the problem with the last column. The reason is, assume that I specified from 22nd till 39, which will have almost like 17 characters to be stored for that particular variable. But as you can see the data here, Sunset Avenue is not 17, 76th Street is not 17, might be the Pennsylvania Avenue might be 17 characters. So it is able to read it. But the problem is, as you have specified 17 characters to be there for the last column, it is unable to see all the 17 in your data. So what it will do? It will go to the next row for looking for the next of the values, which the data reading goes wrong. So in order to overcome this, we have this option called trunk over, which means in spite there are 17 values specified, if the data is not having 17, still it will replace some value and it will be reading all this data as it easily. So for that, we use an option called trunk over. In spite the data is falling short of its length, still it is able to read the values. So for that reason, we use this option called trunk over. Okay, so I'm just using it. Please remember, it is a data specific and a method specific. If I'm removing a trunk over, you'll not be able to execute that because it gives an error. Even in the log window, you can see lost card. So the data reading has went wrong in this. So that way we can identify it. So totally, we have these all options: trunk over, scan over, delimiter option, DSD, miss over, DLM. All these are the different options we have under this particular topic called infile options. Right guys? Is it clear, everyone? Okay. There are still many examples which I have given for practice purpose. You can do that later on. That is only for practice. Clear? Any questions so far? If any questions, please let me know. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. So there are some activities, some kind of a note, some kind of an examples, everything is there. You can just even look for more practice on this topic. Now, I hope like everyone is able to understand the program and everyone is able to load into your SAS on demand, right? Okay. So shall we start with the next topic? Do you want to look into this programs once again? Or just to take 5 minutes of time, have a look into these codes. Meanwhile, I'll share you the material of the next topic.
Okay.
Okay. Just give me 2 minutes. I'll also upload and I'll share you that so that even you can do the same process again. Guys, shared an email. Can you please see? In that you have the codes. I think no data are there. All the programs has data within that, most of them. Try to upload all the programs or the codes which I've shared it to you. So the next topic we have is called as a formats and informats. This topic is a little bit heavy and many things to understand. Please try to concentrate. If you guys need a break, you can just take a break for a few minutes and come back. So it's a bit lengthy topic. We'll try to understand all that. Then we'll have to go with the practical part. Need a break or can we continue?
For how long this topic will take, sir?
Almost 1 hour we require for completing all this.
Okay, Bhavsing is asking for a break. Let's go for a break.
Okay, take a break for 5 minutes and get back. So we have two topics under this. One is formats and informats, and there is something called as a user-defined format. We have to understand it conceptually, and there are some other kind of interview-related things which I need to explain. So almost it takes 1 hour to cover all these things. So just have a break for 5 minutes and come back. We'll discuss this. Okay. Okay, guys, back. Okay, so this topic is about the formats and informats. What do you mean by a format and an informat is, till now, whenever we are reading about a data, we have seen all the standard values like a numerical as well as a character data. So we call it as a standard data, the numerical as well as a character. Then what is a non-standard values or not, which is not in a format, is any data like dates, the currencies, or any kind of other delimited files or different types of delimited files or hexadecimal values. All these are considered as a non-standard data. For example, if we can see here, we have some columns of data to read like ID, name, salary, DOB. SAS can understand this standard numerical, standard character. But when it is coming to this, it is unable to read this value because there is a comma in between, which is a special character. If we give a delimiter, it will separate all the data. So it will not be able to read it, and it has to understand that particular value which is not a standard data of SAS. So how we are able to handle this, we'll try to understand that. The next one is about the dates. As you can see, the dates are different formats we have. Like we have with like slash, we have with hyphen, or we have with the alphanumerical. All these are the different types of data we have. So which we need to understand, and like let's say this data has to be understood by the SAS, or else it will not be able to make some kind of a calculations or any kind of a date differences, will not be able to find it. So how these non-standard values are handled in SAS? The first point is, by defaultly, SAS has got some kind of a default date notation. That is, for example, 1st Jan 1960 is considered as a default date of SAS. Okay, so 1st Jan 1960 is a default date of SAS, which is considered as a 0 day. So any date coming after that, SAS will be considering it as a number of days. It will be considering or converting into the number of days from that default date. For example, 1st Jan 1961, it will be considering it as plus 365 days. If it is 1st Jan 1959, minus 365. So it will automatically handle it. We have nothing to do with them. Right. So if I wanted to check with the present date, like for example, what is today's date? So what it will do, it will calculate into the number of days into number of years, which will be something in the days format, which we don't understand that particular number. For example, if I say this is today's date, we will not be able to understand because it's an value for us, integer value, or some 12,000 is a number for us. So simply to say, it is an informat to us, but format to SAS. But this particular date is a format to us, in format to SAS. That is a vice versa of it. So how should we make SAS understand about a particular date? So what is that we are going to see now? We already know some kind of a date formats which we have been habituated and been using all them, like DD, MM, YY, MMDDYYYY, so on. So that are all the different types of date formats. We already have it. So now how would SAS calculate or understand this particular date? So as you can see, this particular date format, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is the total width of a date. So by default, the SAS has all the date formats inbuilt. So how we consider this particular date format is DD, MM, YY, 10. 10 is the total width of the data. And dot here represents the number of values as per the date. So if we consider this particular date, which has a 8, so we consider this format as DDMMYY 8 dot. So there are some predefined formats of it. So if you see this particular date, if you consider 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there is a format called date 9 dot. So similarly, we have lot many date formats which SAS predefinedly have everything or inbuiltly have all these things. So now how it comes to the comma value. So if you consider this value, let's say I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there is a format called comma. The width of a data that you are specifying is 6. So what SAS will do? It will understand it's a comma separated data and it will eliminate the comma and store the actual value. That is 10,000 is actually stored. Similarly, a dollar sign or euro sign, we have a format called dollar, euro, and defaultly the width of a data. So you have to specify that, which will be able to understand or which can be understood by the SAS. So you might have a question, how if the length is more and how is the length is less? So what is the length is more is, as you can see, there is a data called some $10000000.13. So how will I need to consider this? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So totally the 13 values with 2 decimal places. Then it will have this converted value. It will store into it. So any values lesser than to that. For example, you have 100, you have 1,000. So even that all will be managed because you are specifying the lengthiest value out of it. So that is by defaultly handled by the SAS. Okay. You might have a doubt that if the date formats are coming in different. So how we have? So we can find it all that into the SAS documentation with lot many date formats. Even I've shared you the same material in a Word file, which you can even go through them, what are the different types of date formats we have. So if my date is something like within hyphen, so what is the format name? DDMMYY, D stands for dash, and the length of it. If my data is having a point or a period, so DDMMYY P dot. So all that you can specify them, right? So this is how SAS is able to understand it. Now the question comes is how we should write in this particular code to make SAS understand about the dates or any other non-standard value. So in the input statement, you're writing standard numerical, standard character with a dollar. Now, comma is like along with the variable name you specify, and DOB in this particular data is MMDDYY. You are able to read this data. So when you're reading it, it generally gets converted and stores the actual value, something like this. 1 Krishna, 10,000, and date has something called as a 15,000 or number of days, whatever the number of days it is. But this is the actual converted value where SAS is storing at a backend. So if I just print it, it will print these particular values. So it is fine with the salary. Someone can understand without any commas or anything if I say it's a salary. But when it is coming to the dates, it cannot understand it because what is this 12,000, 15,000 stands for? So while at the time of printing, what we are supposed to do, we are supposed to print how the user wanted to see it. So in the proc print, while we are printing it, we specify that format statement, that is, I wanted a variable called DOB to be represented as DDMMYY, MMDDYY, anything. Okay, or salary as dollar. So it is able to display as per the user is specifying it. So while at the time of reading from the different sources, it is able to read it and make its conversion. After it gets converted, it is able to display how the format we wanted to display them. So that is what we call it as a format and informat. Informat is to make SAS understand about the data. Format is to make SAS represent the output how the user wanted to display it. So that is nothing but we have this concept of formats and informat. Is it clear? Is the concept clear? So that I have few more points to discuss on this. Right. So I have a presentation here. So we have covered all these things earlier. So I'm just skipping off all the slides. The required slides is what I wanted to show you is whenever you are getting the data from the different sources, obviously there is some kind of a conversion process that is happening at the backend. So in that particular process, SAS should understand the data. So normally the raw data are generally given in this kind and the descriptions are also provided to you. So it is up to the user which method you use it or which way you wanted to read it. So it is all up to the user, but we need to make sure that SAS is understanding that particular data. So irrespective of the methods that we have learned earlier, you can use any other method. So that is absolutely fine, but you should understand whether that particular formats or informats or the data is understood by SAS, which is the responsibility of the programmer who is defining it. So now what is that we are learning about it? So in this input statement, we have some kind of a standard values that are accepted in SAS is character and numeric. And all the different methods that you are specifying is also by default. So now, even in SAS, we have standard numerical, that is all the positive values, decimal values, exponent values we have. And even in the numbers also, we have like in the numerics also, we have some kind of an informats. Even in the character also, we have some kind of an informat. We'll look into them. Now, whenever you are writing some kind of a method, at the back end, SAS is able to execute all its code. So it is a step-by-step execution that is happening. So if someone knows about a C programming, if you can recall, there is something called as a compiler interpreter. So what do you mean by compiler? Compiler will execute a code and converts it programming language to the native machine language is the compiler responsibility. After that, interpreter will be able to handle or read all the data or the program step by step, execute it, and gives us the result or error if any. So that is the same process which SAS will manage. That is a compiler and interpreter concept. But here we have something called as a compilation phase and execution phase. So what do you mean by that is, while at the time of compiling, there is something called as an input buffer. Buffer is nothing but a temporary memory. Data coming from the external source is held temporarily in these particular blocks. After that, there is something called as a PDV. PDV stands for program data vector, in which it is responsible for creating your variables and the data set. And thereafter, it will be creating something called as a descriptor portion for creating a table with all your column names. And once after the data is coming to it, we call it as a data portion. We have the data. So these are the 4 steps to be like you have to recognize, remember and recognize. If someone is asking you a question, how will SAS able to execute all its code at a backend? Then you have to explain this process of input buffer, PDV, descriptor portion, all that. Okay, so just remember this particular concept. So apart from that, whenever you are executing it or whatever the method of program you are using it, it it can be specified and make sure that SAS understands all its data. So that is what it is. Okay, so that is what is about this presentation, which I have explained. So you can go through all that later on. So whatever we just discussed, compilation, execution, the information is kept here. Clear? Right. So now we'll understand with one more concept out of it, which is a continuation called as an user defined format. So what do you mean by that? So please see this. We have some kind of a data to be read. So let's consider this is the raw data given to us with all the variables: ID, name, sal, DOB, gender, race, all that. Okay. Just now we have seen that we can handle all the salary, DOB or something, which we are able to handle it. Whereas when it is coming to the gender and races, we are expecting to have some kind of a text data rather than a numeric. So as you can see, gender has got all the numbers, so races has got all the numbers or something. So which we are unable to read this data. Unable to read in the sense, we are able to read it, but where once presenting the value, no one can understand what is this gender stands for, what is 1 and 2. We are expecting all the male and female or something races as different thing, but here we have the numbers. So in most of the real time, these particular variables comes with this numerical data, because to like make a standard values, or else the notation to be maintained across, and easier for storage in this typo. So we have this kind of a notation. So if it is sent as a report, no one will be able to understand it. Then how we make changes to it? So for this,
So there is some disturbance in your audio, sir.
I'm audible now? Is it clear?
But voice is low now. It's not that, I mean, starting it was very good. Now it's a bit low. And there is some disturbance also.
Actually, there is no disturbance. I came to Ematicus today, but I'm not sure about the internet. Just a second, let me change.
Actually, disturbance from the speaker, I guess.
Sorry?
From speaker.
Speaker is somewhat, yeah. I mean, there is some kind of noise from.
No. I'm sitting in a classroom. No one is there here. It might be an internet issue, but no audio, no disturbance at all. Might be the internet connection is not well. Is it clear now? Can you please see? Is it clear?
Yes, now it's okay.
Okay. I think
at the beginning your voice was very good. I mean, I was able to hear clearly. Okay. Now the voice is going low now.
I guess
I'm coming closer to my laptop now to listen what you are telling.
Oh, actually there is disturbance. There is no one here in the room. There is no background noise also. I guess like people have started coming in and started using the internet, so might have got degraded. Just give me a second. I'll just check with any other connection which can help me to have a good thing. Just give me a second, please.
No, I can continue. It's not that time.
Okay. Now is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So see this. What we are understanding is about the user-defined format here is, as these values are the most of them are the numerical, if we send the same or read it and send the report to someone, they'll not be able to understand it because it is all in the numbers. So in order to make the representation change for that particular values, we are using something called as an user-defined format, which is nothing but a user is defining its format to be displayed. Okay. So what we are going to do, we have another new procedure called proc format, a procedure called proc format. Value is the syntax. So whatever the variable you have, you're supposed to create one more new variable. So I have gender, I'm going to create it as something called gen or any other name, where that new variable should not exceed more than 8 characters, no special characters in between, no spaces is a default rule or a limitation for creating a variable. So however you have the data, you wanted to represent it, you are supposed to specify them. So let's say 1 for male, 2 for female, 3 for so on, 4 for so on. Let's assume there are some millions of records and your data got something like 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, so on. So it will be difficult for a programmer to define something which is out of scope that you have. So then what you can do, there is another keyword which will help you to read the data as apart from whatever you have defined it. So leaving whatever the numbers or whatever the values you defined, rest of everything will come under the other, which you can just display some kind of a label for them. Similarly, for the other variables also, you can create any number of variables, assign some value. So while at the time of printing, this particular representation which you have created will be displayed to us. So that we call it as an user defined format. So now how can I represent it? So again in the prop print, you're using a format, salary as comma, DOB as DDMMYY, gender as gen dot. The period or the dot is mandatory because it will understand this is a format and goes into it. If you don't give a dot, it will understand it's a new variable and it looks into your data, so which is not there. Similarly, race as race1, which you have defined it, it is going to that. So that is how you have this form, like concept called user defined format. A user is defining its own format. Right? Is it clear? So this is one more point out of it. Is it clear, guys? Conceptually? So there is a presentation for this topic also. We can go through that later on, because just only whatever I've just explained, the same thing is kept in the presentation. Okay. So for your reference, you can just use that. If you are clear with the concepts, then we'll try to work on the examples. Any questions so far? Any questions on this concept, whatever discussed so far? Okay. So now open the first example, that is in formats and formats example. So if everyone opened it, the first one is, see that I have something called as a name and DOB, right? So if I'm just eliminating this format to be used, when I execute it, what will be there? As per the default understanding of SAS, it will be storing everything into the numbers after it gets converted. Okay, so which is not understandable to us as a date of birth. So what we are going to do now, like while at the time of printing, I wanted my date to be printed with some format. Let's say DDMYY, MMDDYY, anything, word date, week date, many formats are there. So which I'm printing as per the output which is to be displayed. Okay. If you see the second program in the same thing, here what we have done is we got the different types of date format that you can specify. Anything. Reading is one which we require, output is something which we wanted to put it. But the point to recognize here is when you go to the libraries, you can see under the libraries, once you go to the data set, that will by default store all your values as, that is the dates as, like if I open it, INF1, INF2, it will be storing it as the defaultly as the numbers, which no one can understand, right? Because if I share this data set to someone, what is this numbers? If I call it as a date, no one can understand it. So what I'm going to do now is, instead of writing the format statement in a proc print, I'm writing the format statement in a data step only. So what happens? It will defaultly get saved into your library with whatever the format that you specified will be stored into the data set. Okay, so that is the difference between writing a format statement in a proc step as well as a data step. So that is the difference. The third example, line number 28. Similarly, with lot many dates that I have given here, date, date 7, date 9, week date, word date, many date examples, you can go through it. Even the Julian dates are also accepted. That is a European calendar. No one uses it, but still even the SAS will accept that Julian calendar also. That is also accepted. Okay. And you have a dollar format, euro format. So you can directly even use it as a dollar to be represented and euro to be specified. Anything, whatever you want, you can just use it. And the last part is the C with the program line number 162. So here in the last data, I have something called 23rd Jan 89, 2090, 19th April 98. So if SAS is supposed to read that data, how it will be considering it is whether it is 2089, 1989 or 1889. So as for default understanding, the most recent year completed from the system date is 1989. Neither it is a 2089 or 1889. So if you wanted to have a specific century, then you can just use one of the option called options year cutoff equals to the 18th century or 19th century, so on. So if you just execute, you'll be able to see that whatever the default you have specified, it will not change it. For whatever the variables or the values that you have not specified, only that gets changed. Is about this option called year cutoff. One of the important option which we use is it to make some kind of an year cutoff. We use this option. Okay, so these are some examples where you can have a practice with the different types of date formats. Now open the second example. You also have many other examples of dates which you can have a practice again. So there is something called as a today. Today is a function. Okay, so you'll get a today's date, system date to be printed, or whether you wanted to have it only the day, month, quarter, year, all that you can specify with a keyword. Okay, so some examples, you can just have a look into them. The third example is dollar and an upcase. So actually you can see there are some data which is lowercase. So for each or one or more variables, you can directly assign a format as well. As you can see here, that is like we have an item materials to be changed to the uppercase. Upcase is a function actually, but even in SAS it is given as a format. So you can change it to the uppercase or the dollar representation, all that you can make the values changed. So we got all that in the uppercase as well as it is converted into a dollar sign. So all that you can change, just change with this formats and informats. If it is clear, guys, so you can open something called user defined format, fifth one. I have some data related to some cars. Sorry. Oh, I don't have the data. I think even I have not shared it to you. Just give me a second, guys. Please upload the data. I have some data called cars.
You already shared it.
I already shared that. I think I missed it, so that's the reason
Yes.
I shared it. Anyways, fine. If you have the data, like or like create that. Okay. So see this. I have data related to some cars with age, sex, income, and color, which is having some age as 1945, 72, income and color, and so on. Okay. So here, when I'm printing it, we are unable to understand few of its values because it is not clearly displayed for us. What is this gender displacement? What is this color YG and so on? So what we are going to do now is we are creating a format, that is a format gender as a variable rather than sex. We are creating it as a gender, 1 for male and 2 for female. Value again, age as age group 13, 20, teen, adult, and there is a keyword called high and low. The highest value of the data and the lowest value of the data are automatically recognized by SAS. Okay. And if it is a character data, your variable should consist of a $sign. So dollar variable name. Right? W for white, B for blue, Y for yellow. So whatever you want, you can define it. Now, at the time of printing, I'm just using it as a proc print and print all the statements. Now, if you execute, you'll see that it has this particular format represented this way. 1 for male, 2 for female, so on. Okay. So this is about the user defined formats. There are some more examples which I've already given to you. You can please have a look into them for practice. Right? So this is the concept of SAS formats and informats and user defined formats. Is it clear, guys? Many examples, please have a look into this once. Any questions so far on this entire topic of formats and informats and user defined format?
This data, do we have indicated out?
Sorry?
Do we have target variable here?
What is target variable?
Like wage purchasing or not purchasing, like that kind of thing.
No. It is like you have a data which you are making a representation change for it as because the values are not understood for them. So for that reason, we are using this format, proc format to display that particular value in another representation. Here the data is not getting changed. It is only the representation is getting changed. If you see the library, in this library, the actual values are stored as it is. So whatever you have just created as the cars, whatever the data set you just created as a car data, it is by default storing all that. Only the representation you're changing it using a format statement. That's it. There is no target variable or something like that. Okay. So everyone, clear guys? So please go through a few of the examples. Let me know for any questions if you have. So then again, we'll discuss with one other new topic called data management. So under that also we have few more topics to discuss. So please go through these all. If you have any questions, let me know. We can take few more minutes. Then again, we'll start with another topic. Hope whatever the topics that we have gone till now are clear. Yes, everyone? Is it clear, guys? Okay. So just check with all your other examples or so. If you have any questions, let me know. You can revise it for a few minutes because again, we have again a major topic that we'll discuss is called data management. Under that, we have almost like 2 to 3 topics, subsetting, conditions, and all. Okay, guys, I've shared an email related to the other topic. You can again load the data into it, load your programs. Okay, just give me a few minutes time. I'm getting back. Meanwhile, you can have all the other things checked. Any questions if you have on the other topic of formats and informats, let me know. Once after it is clear, we'll move to the next topic called subsetting. Okay, just give me a few minutes time. 2 minutes. Okay, guys, can you continue? Sorry, I was just away. So, actually, the next topic we have is something called as a data management. So under that, we have few subtopics like subsetting, conditions, and combining the data. So this is almost the same in many other programming languages. So the same part, we have it in the SAS. So all these are very familiar to you. Conceptually, nothing new. Just you need to see is about the syntaxes, how you're able to work on SAS. Okay. So as you can see, the mail which I've shared it to you. So there is something called as a subsetting the data. You have a presentation, examples of the statements and everything, the SAS codes, activity. So if you can directly open the SAS codes, we'll directly work on it because it's very simple. You already know it, the subsetting the data. So subsetting is nothing but whatever the values you have in your data set, while at the time of fetching the record, we apply some kind of a filtration and give the values out of it. So for that, we use a statement called where. It's like a where condition, where clause. So here, under this where, we create some kind of an expression to give the result or to be filtered based on the data. We make this expression built with operators and operands. For example, where name equals to Tom. So where expression, we are writing it. Name is a operand, equal is an operator, and again Tom is an operand. So with this kind of an expressions, we will be able to create our where expression statement and filter out the data. So building these expressions, we require some kind of an operators. So all that operators you are very much familiar, the comparison operators, logical operators, special operators, all that. So in SAS, even if the some of the symbols are missing, we can just replace it with the mnemonics. So instead of writing n less than, we can use LT, less than equals to LE, equals to EQ. Even these mnemonics are also accepted by SAS while building the expression, right? So let's see how we can work with some examples. What are the new statements that we have in addition in SAS? So all that we'll just try to work with the different examples here. So it is very simple. So please open it so that we can cover it very sooner and very easier to understand. Right? So the first one is where statement examples, where you have all these examples. So for preferring to have these examples executed, I'm having a data set, even everyone has it, called SAS help.class. There is a library called SAS help in which we have a data set called class, which consists of 19 records in it with all the 5 variables called name, age, height, and weight, and gender. So I'm just performing on this for understanding purpose. If you wanted to go with, you can work with any other data that you wanted to. Okay. So now let's see how to work with this. I'm writing a statement with some expression called where age greater than 14. Any value with age greater than 14 can be displayed. We have this expression. Your data remains the same, only the values get printed based on the condition that you are applying. Where name equals to so and so. The operator and the operand, whatever you are specifying it based on the data, you can mention that. Right. So we have all the comparison operator, equal, less than, greater than, equals to, all that you can specify and build your expression. Right. So next is where name equals to Mary. So it's a case sensitive data. If it is how we are having the data, like uppercase, lowercase, all that you need to specify it. Okay. You have to specify as per the data, whether it is an uppercase, lowercase, whatever the case sensitivity should be managed. Now, as you can see, this is only one condition. If I wanted to have multiple conditions, then you can use an operator and operator. So have one or more operation, like one or more conditions, all the conditions should be satisfied. And operator and or operator, either of the condition. Okay. In operator to check whether the values are in, include kind of thing. Not in, exclude kind of thing. And there are some other special operators called between and to find out the values of in between, including the value that's specified and ranging in between them. Between and we have something called 60 and 65, which are including in between. So between and. The next is we have something called as a contains. Question mark is a representation. Any substring value is displayed wherever you specify some kind of a substring value. All that values can be displayed along with the date. Okay. And now you can also make a combination of few statements, where and where. So where is a condition? Where is a statement of SAS? So by defaultly, any number of variables that you wanted to display, by default, when you are printing it, all the variables in your data set are printed. So where is a statement which can be helpful for printing only the variables that you wanted to display as well as the order that you wanted to display them. So I'm writing a condition statement where along with the where. Where indicates the variables, where is a condition. So where and where is a combination of a statement. We are making it here.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say this. Everyone has left. So can we stop after this topic, the session?
Sure.
Okay, then we'll stop after this topic finish.
Okay.
Sorry to say this.
No. Okay, no problem. Fine. So let me complete this topic because again, we'll be left behind.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. So this is the where and where statement. So next is where and sum. So sum statement is there and where statement is there. So sum is a statement where you can use it for all your totals, all your numeric values, which can be given with the grand total. So instead of writing any kind of, this is like not a function actually. So this is a statement, sum statement. Okay. So sum is a statement where you can make a combination of sum and all to give the total, grand total of this. The next one is another important procedure we have called as a sort procedure, proc sort. So this is one of the important procedure which we can use it for data sorting. So what is this sorting does? To rearrange your observations as per the ascending or descending. It's like an SQL order by statement. Here we have a sort. So I'm writing a procedure called proc sort, data equals to data set and out equals to, if I do not want to display make any changes to the existing data set, I can create one more data set called out. Out indicates a new data set to be created without disturbing the other. So by statement is mandatory because on which variable you wanted to perform this. So I'm using a by statement and print it. So while printing, you'll be getting all the sorted order of the variables that you are specified. So proc sort is a procedure which will help you to arrange your data default in the ascending order. If you wanted to have the descending, you have to use the keyword before to your variable name and print it.
In here, we are writing observation that rearranging the variable observation in order, right?
Yes.
So same like that, can we get in the result format also?
Here you are getting in the result itself. So I've done it on the variable called gender. As you can see here, we got all the females, all the males together in an order. You can do it on any other variable to get it in a sorted order.
No, his question is that command should be displayed in result.
Which command?
And the command what you are given in the code, rearranging the variable observations.
No, this
Is
is
it
a
possible to?
comment. It is a comment. No, it is just for understanding
Yeah,
purpose.
yeah.
Nothing.
His
This is
question is it possible to get that comment in the result?
no. That is, you have to specify it as a title. You remember yesterday we discussed about the titles. So if you wanted that to be printed, let's say you'll keep it as title, and within the single quotations you have to give this, and you can print that.
Okay, this is what I want. Thank you. So whatever we need after doing, we can mention like that title.
Right.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. Right. So next thing is, like, as this got into the particular order of the data, arranging in the ascending order, now we are making a combination of the statements by and sum. So sum and by statements can be used for specifying it as like displaying the value with some kind of a grouping. As we have already got the aggregation, that is a sum statement, when you make a combination of sum and by, we get the grouping of the data. So as you can see here, all the females and their subtotal, their grand total, we got that result printed here. So for the females, we got the subtotal. For the males, we got the subtotal and the grand total. As we have done the aggregation by the gender, we are able to print these records, sum and by statements. Okay. And one other statement is, as you have seen the result, that we got all the result in one single page. If we wanted to get that in a different pages, we have the for statement called page by. So page by will help you to print the output in different pages. As you can see the bifurcation of a line, we can get that printed in a different pages. Okay, so this is a page by statement. Okay, and next one is ID and height. So what is an ID statement? By defaultly, when you are using a proc print, the observation column is printed. So instead, if you wanted to suppress the observation column, we can use a statement called ID and the variable. Whatever the variable you want, I'll specify that. Let's say in this example, it is an height. So when you're executing it, the height variable will be coming to the leftmost side, suppressing the observation column. Okay, so this will be printing at the left side, creating it as an observation column to the left side and suppresses the OBS. So for that reason, we use an ID statement. But individually,
Otherwise, by default, observation column is as per the data set.
the data. Yes, as per the data. So this individually do not have that much of importance, but when it is having an importance is when we make a combination of the statements. That is, I make a combination of sum, by, and ID together. So when you are making a combination, you can see there is a special report created. So female, their subtotal, the males, their subtotal and grand total is printed. When you make a combination of these particular statements, we get a special report out of it. So ID, sum, and by together. Okay. And next one is like operator. I think most of you know them. So like is an operator which can be used for finding a specific pattern. So I wanted to replace one character. I wanted to start my data with J percentile. Percentile replaces any number of characters. Any data starting with J, any data starting with something and ending with something or in between something, you can make a combination. Okay, this is a like operator. Next is there is something called as a sounds like equivalent star. So similarly pronounced data can be like displayed. Any data, if you're having any spellings which are almost same, but when you find out some name with a different spell, but to identify that, we have this symbol called equivalent star called as sounds like, similar pronunciation of that will be displayed. Okay, this is sounds like I don't have any null values, but you have something called is null and is missing. It will find out all the missing values, null values in the data can be displayed. So all that you can use them. Okay, so this is all the statements in combination. You can write it. Yeah, there is one more point under this. Open the program number 2. That is the file which I've shared with the codes. Open that. So this is one more option we have. So see this data set. I have this data set called account, where you can see there are some kind of a repetitive values in this data. Okay, in this code I have some kind of a repetitive values. So let's say I'm adding few more rows with the same data but changing some values. Let's say Apex Garner, I'll make it as TSP22. Okay, I'll make some name again, just change to display you some kind of things. So you can see there is an unique numbering of this data called account number. So if you observe, there are 9923 repeated for 5 times. So the procedure just now we learned about the proc sort. So we have one of the option called no dupe key. So this no dupe key option will help you out to remove all the duplicated values based on the key. That is, if you can see here, 9923 is for 5 times in this data, but at the time of displaying with one of the option called no dupe key, it has eliminated all the duplicated values. So this option we have is called no dupe key, which will eliminate all the values based on the key. So here we specified the no dupe is with account number. Okay, there is another option called as a no dupe. So no dupe is as same as this, but no dupe, sorry, here I don't have the code, I'll just share it to you. Please make this change. I'm sharing this in the chat box, the code. So there is another option called as a no dupe. So what it will do, it will just have the duplicated values. If this entire row is same, then it will delete it. As you can see, the last, I have few values changed. 9923 is repeated for 3 times, but still the values are different in each of them. So if the values are different, it will not delete it. If your entire row is same, then it will delete that particular row with this one other option called no dupe. So to remove the duplicated values based on a key, we have an option called no dupe key. If you want to delete the entire row as it is, then we have some other option called no dupe. So 2 important options for deleting a duplicated values. Right? Is it clear? So this is about the subsetting the data. One of the topic called subsetting data. Right? So you have many examples for this because it is quite really very important. You have the examples document, there is an activity, the quotes, okay, difference between the where statement, if statement, all that is explained. You can please go through them all. Quite really very, very important in our day-to-day activities. Clear, guys? Any questions on this topic?
Where we could add the code?
Sorry?
Where we can add the code?
Adding a code.
Yes, yes. You send out the chart now.
I've already shared it, no?
Yes, but where we mention it.
Your voice is not clear, Vasim. I'm unable to understand. Sorry, what were you?
Hold on. Wait. Let me
Okay. Fine. Any other questions? Any other doubts?